In the cold, endless darkness of space, a small signal blinked faintly across the stars. It was weak but clear. A call for help. The message came from a planet far from Earth, a world covered with strange forests, deep oceans, and dangerous mountains. The signal was an SOS from an alien civilization on the brink of destruction. At the Earth Space Command Center, deep inside a mountain, the signal first appeared on the screens of scientists and officers. The room was silent except for the soft beeping of machines. Dr. Meera Patel, a young astrophysicist, stared at the strange symbols on her screen. They were unlike anything Earth had seen before. "Commander Lee," she said, her voice calm but filled with excitement, "we've received a distress call from beyond our known space. The signal is coming from a planet in the Andromeda sector. It's definitely artificial, and the language, it's complicated, but we're decoding it." Commander David Lee, a veteran of space missions and a man known for his steady calm, leaned forward. "Distress call? From an alien world?" "Yes, sir. The message says their planet is under attack. They're asking for help." Mira's fingers flew across her keyboard as more of the message appeared. The room buzzed with sudden energy. Alien signals were rare. A call for help was almost unheard of. "Get me the Council," Commander Lee ordered. "This could be Earth's first real contact with an alien species. We need to respond carefully." Within minutes, Earth's Global Space Council gathered in the command center's large conference room. Leaders, scientists, and military advisors sat around a long table. On the main screen, the alien message played repeatedly, a strange pattern of sounds and symbols, but one thing was clear. It was a plea for help. "Do we know who sent the message?" asked General Vargas, a stern man with decades of experience. "We don't have their name, but we've learned that their planet is in trouble," Meera explained. "Their technology is advanced, but not as advanced as ours. They mention a group called the Deathworlders attacking their home." "Deathworlders," the general repeated. "Who are they?" Commander Lee answered. "From our research, the Deathworlders are a violent, ruthless race known for destroying planets and civilizations. They are feared throughout several star systems." A cold silence fell over the room. "So they want us to come to their aid," said one council member. "Why us? Why Earth?" "Perhaps because we have not been involved in any galactic wars yet," Meera suggested. "Maybe they think we have the strength and the heart to fight back." The council debated for hours. Some feared Earth was not ready to face such danger. Others saw it as a chance to prove humanity's place in the galaxy. In the end, the decision was made. Humanity would send a fleet to answer the SOS. 2 months later, the fleet was ready. Ships of different sizes, equipped with the best weapons and technology, floated quietly in the vast hangar bay. Captain Sarah Mills, a skilled and respected leader, walked among the crew. Her eyes were sharp, but there was a calm determination about her. "This mission is unlike any other," she told her officers. "We're going to a planet under attack. The people there need us. We will do everything to protect them." Her crew nodded, understanding the weight of their task. As the fleet prepared to leave, families and friends watched from Earth's spaceport. Messages of hope and support flew through communications channels. Humanity was stepping into the unknown, but they were ready. The flagship, the Intrepid, led the fleet. Captain Mills took her seat on the bridge, the stars ahead shining cold and distant. "Engage jump drive," she ordered. In a flash of light, the ships jumped through space, traveling faster than any human had before. When they arrived, the scene was grim. The planet, called Zalaris by its people, was a beautiful but harsh world. Thick forests stretched across its land, but many were scorched and blackened from recent battles. Rivers ran red with dust and debris. The sky was darkened by smoke from burning cities. The fleet entered orbit, scanning for signs of life. "Captain," said Lieutenant Cole, the fleet's chief scout, "we're picking up faint life signals. The natives are still alive but hiding." Captain Mills nodded. "Prepare a landing team. We need to meet these people and understand what we're up against." A small shuttle descended to the surface, moving through the smoke and ash. The landing was rough, but the crew touched down safely near a ruined village. Waiting for them were tall, slender beings with skin like silver leaves and eyes that glowed faintly blue. They called themselves the Xylarans. "We are grateful you came," said the Xylaran leader, a calm figure named Eliar. "Our home is dying. The Deathworlders come like a storm, leaving nothing but death behind." Captain Mills studied Eliar carefully. "Tell us everything. How can we help?" Eliar's voice was quiet but filled with pain. The Deathworlders are warriors who crave destruction. They see our planet as weak, ripe for conquest. Our weapons cannot stop them. We have sent many calls for aid, but none answered until now. The humans listened closely as Eliar described the horrors. Villages burned, families lost and hope fading. We will fight with you, Captain Mills promised. Humanity will not turn away from those in need. That night, under strange stars, the humans and Xylarans planned together. Maps were spread out and strategies discussed. The humans shared their technology and tactics, while the Xylarans offered knowledge of their land. Captain Mills looked out at the dark horizon. This would be a fight like no other, but humans had something the Deathworlders didn't: heart, courage, and the will to protect. As the first light of Xylaris' dawn broke, the fleet prepared to stand between the attackers and the innocent. The battle was about to begin. The morning light on Xylaris was sharp and cold, cutting through the thick, smoky air that still hung heavy from the recent battles. The humans and Xylarans had spent the night in a small clearing, surrounded by the blackened remains of trees. Plans and maps covered the tables, while conversations buzzed with urgency and determination. Captain Sarah Mills stood with Eliar, the Xylaran leader. Both were determined to protect this fragile world from the merciless Deathworlders. Around them, soldiers prepared weapons, technicians checked systems, and scouts reported back from the nearby forests. "We must understand the enemy before we fight," Eliar said, his voice low but firm. "The Deathworlders do not come for peace. They come to destroy, to take everything," Sarah nodded. "We've faced tough enemies before, but nothing like this. We need to know how they fight, where they come from, and how to stop them." Eliar gestured toward a holographic map of Xylaris, with several red dots blinking on the screen. "Their camps are here, here, and here. They attack in waves using speed and brute force. Our warriors have tried to hold them back, but it is never enough." Lieutenant Cole, the human scout, stepped forward. "I've been observing the Deathworlders from a distance. They are fast, aggressive, and they do not seem to fear death. Their armor is tough but not invincible." Sarah looked at the map carefully. "Then we need to be smarter and faster. Hit their camps before they attack again. If we can cut their supply lines, maybe we can slow them down." Meanwhile, far from the council meetings and maps, the Deathworlders were preparing for their next attack. Their leader, a towering figure named Krell, stood in front of his warriors. His voice was harsh and commanding. "We take this planet or we die trying. These new invaders, humans, are weak but dangerous. They have come to interfere." Krell's eyes burned with fury. "We will crush them and the Xylarans. Nothing will stop the Deathworlders." His warriors roared their agreement, ready to tear through anyone who stood in their way. Back on the Xylaran side, Captain Mills and her team prepared for the first strike. "We can't waste time," she said. "The longer we wait, the more the Deathworlders destroy. We will take the fight to them." A squad of human soldiers, Xylaran warriors, and scouts was formed. Among them was Lieutenant Cole, who had studied the enemy closely, and Zara, a Xylaran warrior skilled in stealth and speed. The team moved quietly through the dense forests, avoiding patrols and traps set by the Deathworlders. The air was thick with tension and the smell of burnt wood. After hours of careful movement, the team reached the edge of a Deathworlder camp. Lieutenant Cole whispered, "There are 20 enemy fighters here, armed and alert." "They don't expect an attack," Sarah nodded. "Then we give them one." The attack was swift and precise. Using their advanced technology and Xylaran knowledge of the terrain, the team struck hard at the enemy camp. Blinding lights, controlled explosions, and quick moves created chaos among the Deathworlders. The enemy fought back fiercely, but the humans and Xylarans used teamwork and tactics to stay ahead. Soldiers moved in groups, covering each other, while Zara led the way, using her speed to outflank the attackers. Within minutes, the camp was destroyed. Weapons and supplies burned or captured. The survivors fled into the forest. The team returned to the human base with a sense of victory but also caution. "This is only the beginning," Sarah told her officers. "We've hit their forces, but they will come back stronger. We need to be ready." That evening, as the sun set behind the mountains, the humans and Xylarans gathered around campfires. Captain Mills spoke to the assembled soldiers. "Today we showed the Deathworlders that we are not afraid. We fought with honor and skill. But the enemy is powerful and the battle will be long." Eliar added, "Our people have waited a long time for help. With humanity's courage and strength, we may yet save Xylaris." There was a quiet determination in the group. Many had lost homes and loved ones. Now they stood together as allies, united against a common enemy. But the Deathworlders were not idle. Kral, furious at the loss of his camp, gathered his commanders. "We will crush these invaders," he growled. "They think they can come here and stop us. We will show them true death." Plans were made for a large, brutal attack on the human and Xylaran forces. Kral promised no mercy. The following days were hard and full of danger. The Deathworlders attacked in waves, testing the defenses of the human fleet and the Xylaran fighters. The battles were fierce and close, with both sides taking losses. But the humans' technology and tactics began to turn the tide. Using drones, smart weapons, and strong shields, they held their ground. The Xylarans fought bravely alongside them, their knowledge of the forests and mountains proving invaluable. They set traps, guided the humans through hidden paths, and shared their ancient hunting skills. Lieutenant Cole and Zara became close friends, working together on scouting missions and surprise attacks. Their teamwork saved many lives. In the middle of the fighting, Sarah received an urgent message from the command center back on Earth. "We have detected a larger fleet of Deathworlder ships moving towards Xylaris," the message said. "Prepare for a major battle. Reinforcements will arrive soon, but you must hold the line." Sarah felt the weight of the responsibility heavy on her shoulders. "We will not fail," she said. "We fight for this planet, for our new friends, and for humanity's honor." One night, as the fleet rested, Sarah walked the camp. Checking on her soldiers, she stopped by the medical tent, where wounded humans and Xylarans were treated. A young Xylaran girl, her silver skin scarred from battle, looked up at Sarah and smiled weakly. "Thank you," the girl whispered. Sarah knelt down. "We're here to protect you. We will win this fight, I promise." The girl's eyes shone with hope. As dawn broke, a new battle began. The Deathworlders launched a massive attack, their ships and warriors flooding the skies and land. But this time, the humans and Xylarans were ready. Using everything they had learned, they fought back with skill and courage. The skies lit up with lasers and explosions. The forests echoed with the sounds of battle. In the chaos, Captain Mills led a daring mission to destroy the Deathworlder command ship, a move that could turn the war. Her team flew through enemy fire, dodging missiles and fighters. With steady hands and sharp focus, they hit the target and watched as the enemy flagship exploded in a ball of fire. The destruction of the command ship shocked the Deathworlders. Kral's voice rang out in anger and frustration, but his forces began to falter. The tide of battle shifted. As the smoke cleared, Captain Mills stood with a lyre and her officers, looking out over the battlefield. "We have taken the first step," she said. "But the fight is far from over. The Deathworlders will come again." Eliar nodded. "But now they know we will not run. Xylaris will fight, and with humanity by our side, we have a chance." The humans and Xylarans prepared for the battles ahead, knowing the road would be hard and long, but together, they were stronger than ever before, and the story of their courage and hope was only just beginning. The battle on Xylaris had changed the course of the war, but it was far from over. The Deathworlders, though shaken by the loss of their command ship, were more furious than ever. Their leader Kral swore vengeance. The galaxy had never seen a foe so ruthless, so determined, and so hungry for destruction. High above Xylaris, the shattered remnants of the Deathworlder fleet regrouped in orbit. Their ships, battered but far from defeated, hung like dark clouds against the planet's blue-green surface. Kral stood on the bridge of his flagship, his broad frame towering over his officers. His eyes burned with fury as he watched the distant fires below. "The humans have shown weakness," he growled, "but they have also shown heart. They fight hard. This will make their defeat all the sweeter." His voice echoed through the ship. "Prepare for the next assault. We will crush the invaders and their fragile allies. No mercy." The Deathworlders began to rebuild their forces quickly. New fighters poured in from nearby systems, and their brutal warriors trained without rest. They knew this was their last chance to claim Xylaris. On the ground, Captain Sarah Mills stood on a ridge overlooking the forest. She felt the weight of the coming battle pressing down on her chest. The sky was filled with strange red clouds, a sign that the Deathworlders were preparing to strike again. Beside her, Eliar, the Xylaran leader, scanned the horizon. "Our scouts report large enemy movements," Eliar said quietly. "They come with fire and death." Sarah tightened her grip on her rifle. Then we meet them with everything we have. The alliance between humans and Xylarans had grown stronger. Both sides had learned from each other, adapting to the enemy's tactics. Yet the Deathworlders' fury was unlike anything they had faced before. As the sun set, the first wave of Deathworlder fighters descended from orbit. Their ships darkened the sky like swarms of angry bees. Explosions rocked the forests as the invaders landed in great numbers. The human and Xylaran forces moved quickly to defend their positions. Lieutenant Cole led a group of scouts through the thick trees, using the cover to strike surprise attacks on the enemy supply lines. Zara, the Xylaran warrior, moved like a shadow, cutting down enemy soldiers with swift, precise strikes. Explosions lit up the night as the two sides clashed fiercely. The Deathworlders fought with brutal strength and savage determination. Their warriors were fearless, rushing forward without hesitation. But the humans were clever and disciplined. Their advanced weapons and coordinated tactics kept the enemy at bay. Captain Mills directed the battle from a command post, her voice steady and clear over the radio. "Hold the line," she ordered. "Use the terrain to your advantage.
Watch for flankers."
The battle stretched for hours, neither side gaining the upper hand. In the middle of the chaos, a new threat appeared. Kral himself led a group of elite Deathworlder warriors directly into the heart of the human camp. His armor gleamed dark and sharp, and his presence filled the air with danger. Captain Mills and her officers scrambled to organize a defense. "Keep him away from the base." Sarah shouted, "We can't lose our supplies or our people." The elite warriors moved with terrifying speed and power, breaking through defensive lines. Sarah took up her rifle and joined the fight, moving through the smoke and fire with determination. Lieutenant Cole spotted Kral leading his forces and moved to intercept. "Captain, I'm moving in to flank Kral," he reported. "Be careful," Sarah warned. "He's dangerous." Cole and his team fought their way through the enemy, using every skill they had learned. As they closed in, Cole saw the raw power of the Deathworlder leader. Kral swung his massive weapon with deadly force, cutting down anyone who came near. Cole's team fought bravely, but they knew this was a battle for survival. Meanwhile, Zara led a group of Xylaran warriors in a counterattack on the enemy's rear lines. Using their knowledge of the forest, they set traps and ambushes, slowing the Deathworlders' advance. Zara moved quickly, her silver skin reflecting the flickering flames of battle. She fought not just with weapons, but with the heart of her people. Back at the human base, Captain Mills coordinated reinforcements and medical teams. She watched as wounded soldiers were carried in, their faces marked by pain but also hope. "This fight will test us all," she said to Elyar, "but we will not break." Elyar nodded solemnly. "Xylaris has survived for thousands of years. With you, we will survive longer." As dawn broke, the battle continued. The Deathworlders, though fierce, began to falter under the combined strength of humans and Xylarans. The enemy's numbers were vast, but their tactics were predictable. Captain Mills ordered a daring move, a strike at the Deathworlders' command center. Hidden deep in the forest, Lieutenant Cole and Zara volunteered for the mission. "This could end the war," Sarah told them. "But it's dangerous. Be careful." Cole, Zara, and their team moved quietly through the trees, avoiding patrols and traps. The forest was dark and thick, the air heavy with smoke. Suddenly they were spotted. The enemy attacked with fury, but the team fought back with skill. Cole's leadership and Zara's agility made them a deadly pair. They reached the command center, a heavily guarded fortress built into the mountain. Using explosives and careful planning, they destroyed the command center's power source, causing confusion among the Deathworlders. Without their leadership, the enemy forces lost coordination. The battle began to turn. Kral, furious and wounded, retreated with what remained of his warriors. The humans and Xylarans pressed their advantage, pushing the Deathworlders back into the forests. Exhausted but victorious, Captain Mills and her team regrouped. The cost had been high, many lives lost. Many injuries suffered, but the Deathworlders' power was broken, at least for now. In the quiet after the battle, Sarah looked at the stars. "This fight isn't over," she said softly. Elyar stood beside her. "No, but we have shown them that Xylaris is not a prize to be taken easily." The two leaders shared a moment of respect and hope. Together, They prepared for the next challenge. The dawn on Zalaris was quiet but heavy with tension. The fierce battles of the past days had left the land wounded. Forests were scarred, and the air still carried the sharp smell of smoke and dust. Yet beneath the scars, hope was growing. Captain Sarah Mills stood outside the temporary command center, her gaze fixed on the horizon where the sun slowly rose. The sky was streaked with soft oranges and pinks, a calm contrast to the chaos they had faced. Beside her, Elir, the Xylaran leader, watched the same sunrise with quiet strength. "We have fought hard," Elir said, his voice steady. "The Deathworlders have been pushed back, but they will return." Sarah nodded. "We've made progress, but we cannot wait for them to come again. We need to take the fight to them, to end this before more lives are lost." The human and Xylaran forces had spent days gathering resources, repairing equipment, and learning more about Xylaris itself. The planet held secrets beneath its surface, ancient ruins and hidden technology left behind by a long-lost civilization. Elir believed these ancient tools could be the key to defeating the Deathworlders, for good Xylaris is older than we. "Remember," he told Sarah, "beneath the forests and mountains lie machines and weapons far beyond our current technology. If we can unlock their power, we might turn the tide." Sarah's eyes brightened with hope. "Then we must find them." A team of humans and Xylarans was quickly assembled for an expedition to the ruins. Sarah assigned Lieutenant Cole to lead the mission. Knowing his courage and skill were unmatched, Zara volunteered as well, eager to protect her home with every resource available. The group prepared for the dangerous journey beneath Xylaris' surface. As they traveled, the team descended through ancient tunnels covered in strange symbols and glowing crystals. The air was cool and still, untouched for centuries. The deeper they went, the more they felt the power of this forgotten world. At the heart of the ruins, they discovered a massive chamber filled with strange machines that hummed softly with energy. "This is incredible," Cole whispered. "We found something that could change everything." Zara studied the controls. "If we can activate these, they might help us defend Xylaris, and even drive the Deathworlders away." Back on the surface, Captain Mills coordinated the defense and continued to strengthen the alliance between humans and Xylarans. Training sessions and strategy meetings filled every hour. Despite the hardships, the soldiers' spirits were high. They fought not just for survival, but for a future where Xylaris could be free. The Deathworlders, however, were regrouping faster than anyone expected. Krell, wounded but unbroken, rallied his forces deep in the jungle. "We will return," he promised his warriors, stronger and more deadly than before. "Xylaris will fall." He called for reinforcements from distant systems and prepared new weapons designed to crush the Alliance. On Xylaris, the expedition team successfully activated some of the ancient technology. Massive energy shields rose above the forests and old weapon systems hummed back to life. With this new power, the humans and Xylarans planned a bold move. "We will strike their main base," Sarah declared. "With these defenses and weapons, we can end this war." The Deathworlders' main camp was a fortress hidden deep in the wild jungles of Xylaris, protected by thick walls and heavy patrols. The Alliance's forces moved quickly, using the new shields to protect their advance and the ancient weapons to break through enemy defenses. The battle that followed was fierce. Explosions shook the ground, and lasers cut through the thick jungle air. But the Deathworlders, though brutal, were no match for the combined strength of humans, Xylarans, and ancient technology. Lieutenant Cole led the charge into the heart of the Deathworlder camp. Supported by Zara and her warriors, they fought side by side, cutting through enemy ranks with precision and courage. In the chaos, Cole faced off against one of Krall's top generals, a massive Deathworlder known for his brutal fighting. The two clashed fiercely, but Cole's skill and determination won the day. Meanwhile, Captain Mills coordinated from the command center, directing reinforcements and managing the battlefield. Her calm voice over the radio kept the forces focused and organized. "We are breaking through," she said. "Hold your positions and push forward." The turning point came when the Alliance reached the Deathworlders' command tower. Using a mix of human technology and Xylaran courage, they breached the defenses and stormed inside. Krall waited for them. Furious and desperate, the final battle was brutal, a fight of wills and strength. But the Alliance had learned, adapted, and grown stronger. In the end, Kral fell, his forces shattered. As the dust settled, the survivors of the Deathworlder army fled into the forests, their threat greatly diminished. Captain Mills and Eliar stood among the ruins of the battlefield, exhausted but victorious. "We did it," Sarah said quietly. "We saved Xylaris," Eliar smiled softly. "Not just saved. We have built something stronger, a friendship between our peoples." Back at the base, celebrations were quiet but heartfelt. The humans and Xylarans knew the war had changed them all. They had faced death and destruction, but had found hope and strength. Sarah looked around at her team, proud of what they had accomplished. "This is only the beginning," she said. "The galaxy is bigger than we ever imagined. But with courage, friendship, and determination, we can face whatever comes next." As Xylaris began to heal, the Alliance prepared for the future. The Deathworlders were defeated, but the message from Earth's command center came through loud and clear. There were other SOS signals in the galaxy, other worlds in need. Humanity's role in the stars was just beginning. The battle for Xylaris was finally over. The skies, once darkened by enemy warships and filled with the roar of explosions, were now clear and calm. The forests slowly healed, the scorched earth gave way to new green shoots, and the air carried a fresh hope. Captain Sarah Mills stood at the edge of the human base, looking out over the recovering world. The weight of victory sat heavy on her shoulders, but her eyes shone with determination. Beside her, Eliar, the Xylaran leader, watched the sunrise with quiet pride. "We fought not just for our homes," Eliar said, "but for a future where our peoples can live in peace." Sarah nodded. "And this future starts now." The alliance between humans and Xylarans was stronger than ever. Together, they rebuilt the damaged settlements and helped the wounded. The ancient technology discovered beneath Xylaris was studied carefully, promising new ways to protect the planet. But even as Xylaris healed, a new challenge awaited. The command center on Earth sent a message, a series of SOS signals from other planets, scattered across the galaxy, worlds under attack, worlds desperate for help. Humanity's role in the stars was growing larger than anyone had imagined. Captain Mills gathered her officers. "We have saved Xylaris," she said, "but our fight is not over. There are others who need us." Lieutenant Cole and Zara stood ready. "We will go where we are needed," Zara said, her silver skin glowing in the morning light. Together, plans were made for a new fleet, stronger and faster. Carrying both humans and Xylarans, the Alliance would travel beyond Xylaris, to distant worlds where danger waited. Before leaving, Sarah took a moment to visit the memorial for those who had fallen in the war. The names of humans and Xylarans alike were etched in stone, a reminder of sacrifice and courage. She touched the cold surface gently. "We will honor you," she whispered, "by fighting for peace." The fleet launched from Xylaris's orbit, stars shining brightly around them. As the ship sped through space, Sarah looked out the window, her thoughts on the journey ahead. The galaxy was full of unknowns, new allies, new enemies, and new adventures. But she was ready. On the bridge, Eliar stood beside Sarah. "We go as friends, warriors and protectors," he said. Sarah smiled. "Together we are stronger than any enemy." The first SOS signal was from a planet called Vespera, a world covered in deserts and strange ruins. Reports told of raiders attacking peaceful settlers. The fleet headed toward Vespera, prepared for what awaited. As they approached Vespera, the fleet detected enemy ships in orbit. "Prepare for battle," Sarah ordered. The Deathworlders were not the only threat in the galaxy. The fight over Vespera was fierce, but the Alliance's experience from Xylaris gave them an edge. They used teamwork, strategy, and new technology to protect the settlers. After hours of battle, the raiders were driven off. The settlers cheered, their faces full of relief and hope. Captain Mills met with the leader of Vespera's settlers. "Thank you for your help," the leader said. "We thought no one would come." Sarah smiled. "We fight for all who need it. You are not alone." News of the Alliance's victory spread quickly. More worlds sent SOS signals. More lives waited for rescue. The fleet traveled from planet to planet, fighting injustice and protecting the innocent. Sarah, Eliar, Cole, Zara, and their teams became legends, heroes of the stars. But with each victory came new challenges, new enemies. Appeared creatures and warriors unlike anything seen before. The Alliance had to learn and adapt, faster than ever. In quiet moments between battles, Sarah reflected on the journey. They had started with a call for help on Zelaris. Now, they were part of something bigger, a mission to bring peace to the galaxy. The humans and Zelarans had changed, no longer strangers or enemies. They were family. Together, they faced the unknown with courage. As the fleet traveled through the stars, Sarah made a promise. We will stand together, fight together, and protect all who call the galaxy home. Elyar nodded beside her. Together we write the future. And so, the story of the Deathworlders and the alliance of humans and Xylarans became a legend of hope. A story of courage, friendship, and the power of standing up against darkness. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, full of promise and mystery. For Captain Sarah Mills and her allies, the journey was just beginning.